After 5 years of marriage, my wife and I decided it was time to press pause on our chaotic lives and escape to someplace far from the noise, stress, and routines that had started to wear us down. Our relationship had begun to show cracks. Subtle ones at first, but growing more apparent with each passing month. We thought maybe, just maybe, a luxurious vacation might act as a reset button we desperately needed. No kids to distract us. No plans to start a family anytime soon. Just us trying to rediscover the spark we'd once had. We booked a stay at a high-end resort. The kind of place where the sand is impossibly white, the ocean is a dreamy turquoise, and every cocktail arrives with a little umbrella. But paradise has its way of revealing truth, especially when you're trying to pretend everything's fine. From the very beginning, things didn't go as planned. We argued over small things, restaurant reservations, social media posts, what time to go to the beach. Nothing major at first, just constant friction, like emotional paper cuts. Then came the night that made everything painfully clear. She returned to our room, beaming with excitement, holding an extravagant designer shopping bag. I was taken aback. We hadn't planned any lavish purchases, especially not when our budget had already taken a hit. Before I could even ask, she smiled wide and said it was a gift for me, early anniversary surprise. But something in her eyes didn't quite match the story. She laughed a second later and admitted the truth. It was a gift for her father. That's when it hit me. Her devotion to her family ran deeper than I had ever fully grasped. She was already staging photos with a watch, lining up the perfect lighting, adjusting the background, snapping it from 10 different angles to find the most aesthetic one. She even timed her post and told me to like it precisely 20 minutes later. My wife, Mary, had become consumed by her online persona. A year earlier, she quit her job to chase the dream of being a lifestyle blogger. Her follower count had grown, sure, but the money hadn't followed. Our life now revolved around likes, filters, and comments. I missed the woman I married, the one who laughed without checking her screen, who spent evenings cuddled next to me instead of editing captions. During the trip, reality really began to bite. The expenses piled up, thanks to that watch and some impulsive shopping, which forced us to downgrade our accommodations. We gave up our ocean view suite for a smaller, no-frills room. I tried to stay optimistic, soaking up the sunshine and sipping drinks on the beach. But Mary, she was distracted, cold, barely present. Our conversations became strained. Then, eventually, they stopped altogether. That's when things took a darker turn. Mary started disappearing in the evenings. At first, she claimed she was going for a swim with a new friend she'd met at the resort. Harmless enough, except she always wrapped herself in a towel and, strangely, I never saw her swimsuit straps. It felt off, like I was missing something right in front of me. One night, unable to shake the unease, I followed her. I walked through the resort toward the private villas nearby. An area guests like us weren't exactly allowed to wander. I kept my distance, but then I heard it. Laughter, her laughter. I crept closer, hidden behind a palm tree, and saw them, my wife and a man in a hammock, tangled together like they hadn't a care in the world. They hadn't even bothered to hide. Mary's face froze the moment she saw me. The man stammered in broken English, trying to explain something. I didn't care. Rage surged through me, and before I could think, I kicked him clean out of the hammock. He scrambled for her towel, but it slipped out of his hands. Mary tried to gather herself, muttering something about a joke, that it wasn't what it looked like. She claimed she was trying to prank me, said she loved me, that nothing had happened, but the damage was already done. You don't wind up half naked with another man in a hammock at midnight for a laugh. I turned and walked away, refusing to dignify her lie with more anger. She screamed after me, demanded I bring her clothes. I didn't look back. Instead, I shouted for everyone to hear. I'm filing for divorce, and may the court award our property to the fairest of them all. And knowing you, Mary, I'd say the meanest will win. With a final sigh, I added, see you in court. Back in the room, I started packing. I was ready to leave. But then I paused. Why should I? I had already paid for this vacation. The flights, the hotel, the whole damn week. Why should I let her ruin the last of it? So instead, I walked down to reception, explained the situation, and arranged to have our double room switched to a single minus the meals. I even had her plane ticket handed over, in case she wanted to try trading it for something she could use, like a ticket home or a bit of humility. The keys to our apartment were tucked safely in my bag. Later that evening, as I enjoyed a drink on my balcony, I heard shouting below. I peered over, and there she was, Mary, half-dressed, being escorted out of the hotel by 2 security guards. One held her by the arm. The other pulled her suitcase behind him. She shrieked that she was a famous blogger, that she'd ruined the resort with a bad review. But no one listened. She was shoved into a cab and driven off into the night. Back home, I wasted no time filing for divorce. But it never reached the courtroom. Her father stepped in, insisted we keep things civil man to man. He relinquished any claim to our shared property, and even offered to return the luxury watch Mary had bought him. I declined, not because I wanted it, but because the very sight of it reminded me of the hollow promises and failed attempts to fix what was already broken. That watch represented everything wrong with our marriage: flashy, shallow, and ultimately meaningless, just like her apologies. So, if you've made it this far, let me leave you with this. Sometimes you fight to save something that's already gone. And sometimes the best revenge is peace. Real peace. The kind that comes from knowing you finally walked away from someone who never saw you clearly, who loved themselves more than they ever tried to love you. If you appreciated this story, go ahead and hit like, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to tap the bell icon, because sometimes sharing truth is the first step to healing.